This is the Intermediate Admin Training brought to you by the Education Subcommittee. I'd like to welcome you to the class. The Intermediate Admin Training class builds on the material that was presented in the Basic Admin course. It incorporates feedback that we've gotten from the admins over the last couple months. And it also covers some new features that have been introduced by the vendor. This is the third session of the class, and we're going to look at events, reservations, membership management, and dues. There's going to be another class scheduled for the future that covers attendance at events. There is a new capability that allows you to record attendance at an event, and we're going to schedule that class closer to the time that the community opens up and is actually holding events that would require an attendance capability. So that'll come in the future. Today's agenda, two big topics as it turns out, very extensive. The first one is events and reservations. And we're going to walk through an example and evolve it. As it turns out, the reservation capability is quite extensive. But we'll create a basic event. We'll look at various styles of reservations that can be assigned to that event. And then finally, we'll look at the reporting options so that an administrator can see what the attendance is for an event. The other major topic is managing membership. Now, this is only applicable to chartered club and interest groups. The area of neighborhoods and also committees, you can't manage the membership that is done externally by FSR. So this is managing memberships is only applicable to the admins of chartered clubs and interest groups. We'll look at the contents of a member's record when they join a club, how to add and delete a member manually, you can do that. Record a member's dues payment, and we'll also look at various reporting options that are available. And we're going to start again at the website administrators group page. And again, I encourage you folks to hit that old join button and join the website administrators group. That's the way we can reach out to you and maintain contact with you and let you know about things going on in the area of administration. A couple of things I wanted to point out here is the library. There is the library of information out here. It's a good resource. Top down, we have a collection of how-tos. Most of these are printable PDFs. They look at how to replace a banner image or how to send an email. And there's about 15 of them or so. How to update the list of club officers and the photo gallery and so forth. But there are a couple out here that are links to Members First videos. And one of those is events and reservations. Members First in their training area has a bunch of videos, a whole bunch of them. A good portion of them don't apply to us. They have a very large customer base. But there are a couple out there that are very applicable to the environment here at Sun City. So events and reservations, here is a link to a PDF that'll get you to those videos. And that's a very good video for getting down deep in the weeds of events and registration. So that's there. There is also the list of questions and answers. We've collected them from session 2. They're a PDF. You can look at those and find out answers to your burning questions of the day. So that's available also. And then down at the bottom, admin training videos. We record each of these training sessions, and the videos are put out on YouTube. And here's the link to those training sessions. There's the first one, the second one. And when we get done here, there'll be a link to the third one. There's a little bit of a lag here because of the way my system is set up. But what's going to happen is I've clicked on this link, and it will open up the YouTube where the video is. And this is the second session. And if you click on the show more, there is an index to the topics of the video. So you don't have to sit through the entire video or hunt and peck to find out where it is. There's a very convenient index here that will get you to the part of the video that you're interested in. Let's get into events and registration. And we're going to go over to education test. And again, I want to warn you up front, the system has a very extensive events registration capability. And that's good news, bad news. The good news is there's a lot of capabilities that you can do quite a few things with it. But the bad news is it can be a bit intimidating because of the number of options. So that's kind of the playoff there. The training material that we just pointed out is a good reference. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a stepwise approach to introducing the reservation system. Another word of introduction, the website event and registration system is not integrated with Suntix. Suntix is an entirely separate system, and there's no interconnection between the two. So we're at the Education Test website. This is where we're going to present our events. And we're going to use our pastry tasting event again. So let's scroll down here a little bit. If you remember, we put an announcement out here on our webpage that the fall event was going to be a pastry tasting event. Well, a planning team was assembled. They got together and they did great things, and they have organized an event. And remember, these inserts can have the tease, and then the full body of the article is reached via the read more. And here we go with our event description. So again, this is the background of what's going on and why we would need an event. So the 16th annual pastry tasting event is scheduled for November 30th. The date, the event will start at 6 p.m. in our clubhouse in the basement of the lodge, and then move to the fire pit after sunset. There's a flyer. Let's take a look at that. PDF. We have a flyer here with all of the information about the event. And you can hang this on your refrigerator to remind you about the event. So put together a little flyer. To ensure success, you need to register for the event. The planning team made some assumptions about attendance and preferences, but you need to register to help them finalize. So again, we're laying out a background that we're going to address in our reservation. Attendance is capped at 200. To register, go to the club website and click on the calendar link. Locate the event on the 30th. Clicking on the event will start the reservation dialog, and it's pretty easy from the user point of view. And to get you all excited, here's some eye candy, or pastry candy in this case, of some of the pastries that will be available at the event. So bring your appetite, it'll be good. So let's go to the calendar. Let's start over there. Now, for the sake of training, I've taken some license here. The event is actually in the announcement scheduled for the 30th, But to show you the evolution of an event, I've set the events up on the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's just a little more convenient here. The other thing is we're going to start with a very basic event, just an item on the calendar, and then we're going to add additional capabilities as we evolve across the calendar. So we're going to start just very basic and go forward with the registration. So in order to do this, I'm going to hop over here, and I'm actually going to delete this event, and we're going to recreate it. So it says, do you really want to delete this? And yes, we do. So I've just deleted that event, and it'll refresh here and catch up. So what we're going to do is recreate that event on the 16th, and then we'll go forward with the rest of the events. So to create an event, we go up here to our admin toolbar, and remember our good friend admin home, and take care of that. Our applications are in this block, all that we have access to. And my bias is to use this search feature, this quick search, and you type in 3 characters, it will find the applications that are applicable to that. And I'm going to go to the club calendar of events to create a new event. And one thing, remember, I don't know how many times I've done this, make sure you're in the correct member facility. I'm an admin for more than one club, and I don't know how many times I've gotten up here only to discover I'm in the wrong club. But so do remember that. So to create a new event, click on the New button. And we're going to create a pastry tasting event. And again, this is no registration. This is strictly an announcement of the event, putting it on the calendar. This is number 1. The date, we were going to put it on the 16th in our progression of examples. Start time, if you remember from the announcement, it was starting at 6 p.m. And because of noise abatement procedures, we're going to terminate the event at 10. And we're going to do club members. And for this example, we're not going to require any reservations. So this is strictly an item on the calendar, and we'll create it now. And we'll get the, we have an opportunity to put a little more information about our event. And I'm going to use the system provided template for facilities. And since we're coming into the holidays, and I saw a program the other night, I'm going to use a gingerbread template for part of the announcement. Pastry tasting event. And I'm just going to put the abbreviation, a flag, a reminder of no reservations. It's right there. And I got to get some fodder, and I don't want to fiddle around with it, so I'm just going to copy some pre-made flour out of this Word document, and I'm going to paste it in here. Yes. So I have a title, a great group of hardworking folks, the pastry tasting event. And then I also want to put in a picture. And I'm going to go to our collection of pictures. And we have a couple photos here. Let's use the fire pit this time. And there's a picture of the fire pit. I'm going to locate it. I want to change the size of the picture. It's a little bit big for what I want. So I'm going to drop the size down to 300. And notice the system automatically adjusts the height. Going to align it to the left. And I'm going to put a little spacing around it. A little spacing is good this morning. And there we go. And the I can also put a link to the flyer. We saw the flyer before, and the flip phone is our link to such things. And I'm going to File, Library, Education Test, the folder. Believe it or not, it's pastry tasting. Here's the flyer. So I used the template to spruce it up. That's a little bit big. Use the template, the vendor provided template, put some text in there, inserted a photograph, put a link to it, and that's looking pretty good. Go over to the general tab, see if everything's in order. The event date is on the 16th. The start time is 6 p.m., end time is 10 p.m. Event location. Let's put that in there. Clubhouse and fire pit. We can type that in. You can type in anything there. And it's active and we're ready to go. So let's close, save it and close it. Time passes. And let's go back to our calendar here. This is our club page. Education Test Home. And it also, if you notice now, it appears on our list of near-term events. It's also on our calendar. And so we're ready to go, or we're ready for the members to take a look at it. So I want to shift gears on you now. The point of view up to this point has been you, the administrator, creating the event. You got some information from the organizing team giving you the date, the times, the location, and some other information about the event. And you've created a basic event. Now, we didn't put the other information about the reservations and all of that. Again, we'll move into that, but this is what has happened so far. Let's look at what happens when a resident comes by. So somebody comes to the education test page, looks at the calendar, sees this event, and says, I'm interested in that event. Let's click on that. This is what they would see. The name of the event, and again, no registration. That's our little flag for this event. Keep them straight. Here's the time and the date and the event location. So 1, 2, 3 entries up here at the top. That'll be important later on. Here's our gingerbread train that's over here to give it a little bit of eye candy. We have the description of the event here. And we have a link to a flyer if they'd like to look at that. They can print this event over here by clicking on this, and they can add the event to their calendar if they have their personal calendar. So they can do that if they care to. So that's the resident or the visitor or member point of view. So we've looked at both the admin, where you created the event, and now we've also looked at it from the point of view of a members getting information about the event. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the 17th. We're going to evolve that basic idea of the event. We're going to evolve it to include a head count. We're going to require a reservation. But there's a lot of things you can do with a reservation. We're just going to do a very modest one. And I'm going to take the shorthand, the shortcut here. Wait, I'm going to go back to that. Make sure you followed that. I've prepared this reservation or this event already. I've done some upfront work. And because I'm an administrator, hover, I get this red box up here in the upper right corner to edit the event. That allows me to go in and modify that event. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, again, I've done some upfront work. I've created the announcement part of it. And I'm going to do a basic reservation that allows, just creates the head count, the same as we just saw. Nothing different there. But there on this multi-tab window, there's a new tab up here. Well, it's not a new tab, but it's another tab called Registrations. Let's click on that. As it opens up, you see one item over here, event registration type, no registration required. Looks pretty straightforward, right? Just see one little item there and a medium-sized blank space here. So we're going to hit the pull down and we're going to change it to registration required. Well, it starts to, I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. It starts to expand a bit, and there's more. Again, I mentioned that it's a very rich reservation system. You don't have to use all of the features and functions, but don't, pick and choose your battles, what you want to deal with. So let's start up at the top. We're not going to go through all of these. We're going to hit the ones that are applicable to what we're doing. You can schedule when reservations can be made, a start and stop date time. So if you want to constrain it to a particular interval, you can do that. You can also have, you can get notices sent to a personal email address of reservations or cancellations and things like that. I did that, and I will caution you, be careful what you wish for. You can flood your mailbox with a lot of information, but you can do that. Put your personal email in here. You'll also see the history in the reporting when we touch upon that. Registration limits, there's a couple choices here. If you remember in our upfront, we said that the head count was limited to 400. Maximum head count limit for event right there. So that's where we're going to put our 200. So that's the maximum for the event. You can have group reservations, and we'll look at that. That is where somebody registers for a group of people, and you can also limit the total number of reservations made. We're going to slide down here on some of these other options. We'll skip over them now, but we'll come back to them on the next examples. Confirmations, automatically confirm registrations. I'd suggest clicking that. Otherwise, people are going to want to know, am I confirmed or do I not confirm? It's just easier if you automatically confirm, if that fits into your plans. Allow users to view registrations for this event. Well, I'm going to say all. Folks always want to know, are their neighbors going? Are their friends already registered? So that's a nice feature, I think. I'm into that. We're going to slide down a little further. Again, we'll do some of these again later on. And one of the other things that you can do is you can send messages back to the user. Here we go. I've already pre-populated this using a template. You can insert a template, one of the many templates that the vendor provided to spruce it up, and then type in some text. Thank you for registering for the pastry tasting event. So let's see what we've done. We've created an event. It's on the 17th. Remember, we were using that as our example. Registration required. The maximum is 200, and we're going to automatically confirm and some other information here. So we're going to save and close that. And we're going to go back and we're going to have our calendar reloaded. And I want to point out something. You notice the change? It's sort of subtle, but there is a blue cross or a dot with a white cross in the center of it. That's an icon to let you know that there is a reservation associated with this event. But there's our event. What we're going to do now is we're going to shift gears again. We're going to look at this event as if we were a club member registering for the event or interested in the event, and we'll register for it. So let's go over here. I'm a club member now, not the admin, playing a different role. I'm going to click on it, and some changes here. Registration status. That wasn't on the original one we looked at, the basic announcement and calendar entry. And there's a flag here to let you know you can sign up. Oh, we have our template popping up and our announcement about it, description of the event. And down at the bottom, look at this. We've got a big blue button down here that says register, and another one that says view current registrations. Well, we're going to take a look at register. Remember now, we're a member who's come in, we've opened up the event, we've read the description, say, hey, I want to join that event. I'm going to register for the event. And this gets expanded, and it's Tuesday, the date, and you can do edits if you want to. It has your name will appear here. Notes. I'm going to type in a note. Bring a coat. It could be cold. It can get a little chilly outside at night in these times, but we'll bring a coat along, keep us nice and warm. And then when we get all done, click the Save Registration. So it takes a moment while the processing happens, and that's done. So let's look what happened. This is the feedback that comes to a member who is registered for the event. There's the name of the event, my name, the confirmation, date and time, and a number. Remember, this was the thank you note that we set up to say, hey, thank you for registering for the event, and so forth here. Some other information about the event. We're going to take a look at this for a moment. There's a button down here that says modify registration. Let's click on that. One of the things you can do is, go down to the bottom here, is you can cancel your registration. So maybe your plans change, you've got people coming in from out of town, whatever, and you are looking to have some folks come by and join you, and you have to cancel your reservation, so the member can log on and do that. One more thing here we want to look at. I'm going to go to my resident homepage. This is my resident homepage, just like we all have. And on this left-hand navigation, look at this, my reservations. Now, if there's any justice in the world, there is. Excellent. Here are my reservations. So my homepage, my reservations. I just registered for the event, and the system gives me a list of all of the events that I have registered for. And if I click on this, it'll take me to the same page we were just looking at. So that's part of the bringing together the various pieces of the system. That's pretty cool. Go back here, and we'll get. So now we've done. Let's take a look here. Pause for a moment. We created an event on the calendar. We added reservations to it. We capped the registration at 200, and we added a thank you message. On the other side, we moved over to the member point of view. The member registered for the event. We reviewed the information that was provided by the resident during the process. And we also looked at the My Reservations feature on the member's homepage. So let's go to our next example. We'll go back to education test. We're going to go to our calendar. And we're going to look at the next event here. And this is a group reservation. So the idea here is that maybe a group of members are going to carpool, and rather than have 6 people make reservations, the carpool leader will make the reservation and bring his friends along on that single reservation. And again, I've created some basic information here. Here's a description of the event. This should be getting familiar to you by now. There's a flyer about the event. I'm going to go to the General tab. It is the clubhouse, and the fire pit is the location. We have the date and time and all of that. And now we're going to go back to get to the interesting part of this, registrations. And again, we have just one little pull down here, and this is what we will be greeted with. So again, our purpose here is to do a group reservation, and we're going to ask whoever registered for their preferences in terms of food and drink. So we'll take a look here. Again, we can set a window for registrations where we want the internal email sent, if you want it to your personal email. Registration limits, and we're going to set the event limit to 200. That was our requirement. Fire marshal said no more. Maximum head count for a single registration. I'm going to set it to 3. It'll illustrate the point without getting overly complex. And then we're going to slide down here a little bit. Registration options. These are the settings that will control the multiple or the group registration. And you want to be able to have the booking resident to register other members of the community. And so these are check boxes that you'll turn these on. So this will allow the booking resident to associate additional members to his party. And let's see, automatically confirm. We're going to do that. And we're going to go down here, a thank you note. This is a little pithy, so it's good. Gets the idea. It says thank you, because that's a polite thing to do. And the other thing we wanted to do is ask for preferences about beverages and food. So we're going to look at our tabs up here. And what we're looking for is custom fields. Custom fields, the system allows you to associate 5 different custom fields with the event. And the way this works is you start up here and you choose the type of custom field. And I'm going to use the checkbox, and you have a nice selection of options there. This is the field label that will go on the reservation. Preferred drink. These next boxes show on views and also summarize. Those affect the reporting. You'll see that later. I'm going to turn them on. But we're going to make it a required field that whoever is making the reservation has to add it, has to complete it. And this box over here, this is where you actually add the options. So the way this works, and the behavior is pretty consistent. Click on the add, and then we're going to put in here an option, coffee. Add the option. Add another one, tea, and add a third one, cider. So now we have a field, preferred drink, and it's a checkbox with coffee, tea, or cider. And we're going to do one more, checkbox, and field label, preferred pastry. And we want to be able to see it in our report. And we also wanted a required field. And we'll go down here, add the option. And number 1 is cinnamon bun. Cinnamon bun, add the option. Another option is a turnover. Add the option. You see them stacking up here. Finally, a kolache. We're going to put 1 H in there. Add the option. And then finally, Swiss pastries. So there we go. STER. Yes, add the options. So there we go. We have four options, four custom fields on our reservation. Let's save and close this. And there we go. Now notice here when this refreshes, and it might have been quick for you, there's our plus. By the way, go back. If you notice our other event, there is a green dot there with a check mark. The blue dot changed the green because I'm now registered for the event. So you get some feedback here. So let's shift now to the member's perspective. So I'm a member here. I've come over to education test. I'm going to visit the calendar, see what's going on. I see an event that I'm interested in participating in. I'm going to click on it. I get it's a registration is required for it. Here's the description of the event. And here is the button that says I've got to register. And then it expands to now include the registration. It has my name, but there's a new button here. It says add to party. Let's click on that. Add a resident. Let's do that. And the way this works is this box opens up and there is a quick search feature that is tied to the resident directory. So for example, CURT for Chuck Curtis. Let's see what we got here. There's Chuck. Let's add him to the reservation. I'm going to add another one. Let's go with our leader, Susan P. And there she is. I'll add her. So that's 1, 2. Wait a minute. It's not working anymore. If you remember, I set the limit to 3. So that's the reason why the box is grayed out. It doesn't work. The configuration of the event says that there's a limit of 3. Now, I picked that arbitrarily, and you can pick what suits your needs. But it does give you the ability to limit the number of folks that you can put on a single group reservation. And you can also delete them. If you decide to remove one of the members of your party, you can do that. Here are our questions. Remember, we were looking for feedback. The organizing committee needed information about preferences in drinks. Well, let's say coffee and cider, just for the heck of it. Preferred pastries, cinnamon buns and kolaches. You can have fun with that. Here's a summary of the reservation. A total of 3 are going in on this one. We're going to save it. Processing. And it's done. So I've registered for the event. I've added 2 traveling companions, 2 running dogs to the reservation. And I can also, again, as before, modify the reservation. We'll scroll down here to include deleting individuals off of it, changing my preferences, and or canceling the reservation in its entirety. Now, as before, let's see, there's one more part to this. Let's go resident home, my reservation. So I'm on my resident home page, my reservations, and lo and behold, here is the one we just created, just registered for. And if you, our group reservation. So this gives you the full set of reservations that you have registered for. And the third example that we're going to look at now is the example of enabling the wait list. So we started out here, just the head count, we did the group, and now we're going to add onto that the wait list. And again, I'm going to use our shortcut capability. Go over here, and again, we have the description of the event, blah, blah, blah. We are going to require our registration. And, well, we're going to limit the total head count to 200. And we're going to, actually, we're going to change that. We're going to change the total head count to 2. And we're going to change this to 3. Again, I'm contriving this a bit to illustrate how the system behaves. This is something that you probably wouldn't do on your system, but you would pick numbers here that better reflect your environment. I'm going to allow groups to be registered. I'm all going to confirm automatically. I'm going to allow viewing of the registration. And thank you. Yeah, thank you for there. We'll hide that. And then there's one more. We go almost down to the bottom of this window, and it says enable wait list for this event. Click on that, and there's more. Again, there's a lot of, this system offers a lot of capabilities. So it's very rich, and just it offers a lot of capabilities, and you might use some of them, or you can adjust on to your needs. So we'll do that. We're going to allow registrations. You can force everybody to go onto a wait list, and then you can manually move them onto the participating list. But we're going to allow registrations. We're going to do it manually. Automatic means that if somebody cancels their reservation and there's somebody on the wait list, they'll slide over. And we're going to allow residents to view the wait list. Again, this is if you want to receive notices, you can do that. And this, welcome to the wait list. So that's fine for this. And there are several other emails that can be sent out. So again, you have a lot of options here for enabling that wait list. So let's see what we've got. Let's save and close. Let's see how this works. And this will refresh. And notice it changed from, now we have a blue button here to indicate that it's a registration is required. Oh, I need to go back. Do we have our custom fields? No, I forgot that. Custom field number 1, checkboxes. Preferred drink. So you can go back and use this as a learning moment, right? You can go back and add, update your reservation. Coffee, tea, cider, option. There we go. Number 2, checkbox, preferred pastry. 1, required. Going to add the options of cinnamon bun. Cinnamon bun. What's the next one? Turnover. Add the option. Kolaches. And finally, Swiss pastries. Add the option. And now we'll save and close. There we go. So we have our event. And again, we're going to shift gears. Here we are from a perspective of a club member. Go to the calendar. We see the event down here. See the blue dot that says, there's the event. Reservations are required. Click on the event. Here is the description of the event. Here we set it up so you can view the wait list, who is already registered, and of course, do your registration. We're going to add to the party, add residents. We're going to do Chuck again. By the way, when you do this, C-U-R-T. The system sends you an email announcing that you have enrolled, and that's good news, and that you'll have it. The folks that you've registered in your party are also going to get an email that they're registered for the the event. If you choose to increase the number of registrants, move to the wait list. So I've constrained this artificially to 2 people. I can add more by people to the list by moving it to the wait list and do it that way. But let's do that. We'll move it to the wait list, add another one, add a resident, and we'll do Susan P again, P-E-T-R. P-E-T-R. Oh, there she goes. It gives you a heads up that you're going to be going to the wait list. We're going to go, we're going to go to Swiss pastries. And here we go. We'll save it to the wait list because that's interesting. And that's it. So from a resident point of view, I've registered, we're on the wait list. I can modify it again by scrolling down here. I can delete individual members of the party, change my preferences, and so forth. If I go back to my resident homepage and look at my reservations, there we are. All 3 events. I'm still on the wait list. So that's the three types of reservations or the reservation story. Let's look at the reporting feature. So now I'm going to go back to the home page and admin home and use the shortcut again, event. The application that handles the reporting is event registrations. We click on that. Make sure I'm in the right member facility. There is a pull down here. You click on this white box and it'll give you a list of the events that you have here. We're going to take a look at the wait list and click on that. So that selects the event, and then the bottom of the page is where you get the information about the registrations. If you notice, it says no results were found for this search criteria. That's because it's registrations. Notice there's a button here, wait list. If I click on that, it gives me the list of reservations that are on the wait list. And there is a pull down here. I can see all of the members who are on that wait list, on that reservation. You can see their preferences over here, preferred drink and so forth. That's for that particular registration. There is a summary down here. If we had more members who have registered for the event, you'd get a summary of the preferences down here. If you click here, you can do actions. You can move to registered or you can cancel the entire registration if you prefer. You can make new reservations manually. So in case someone can't reach the system or whatever, you can do them manually. The button over here, export, that allows you to export the registration information to an Excel spreadsheet, and it's your typical Excel spreadsheet. Let's get it formatted here. Some header information about it, and then here is the information about the members who have registered for the event, and they're on a wait list over here, indicator. So we've not saved that. And another nice feature is you can send an email to everybody who is on the list. You click on that, it opens up the email interface. You're familiar with that from our previous classes. And we'll just do test here, save, and then you would step through it. I'm on the wait list, so another one. So that's the reason why there are no recipients right here. But that is a nice feature to give you an option to send an email to everybody who is on that list. So, okay, let's take another pause here for a moment. We've looked at making a reservation. We started out light. We started out with a simple basic announcement on the calendar and evolved through a series of added features to an event that included a wait list feature. Then we looked at the reporting capability also. So was a pretty comprehensive look at what's available. There's a nice reporting capability. Also remember that on the training material, Members First, you can go to the WAG, into the how-tos, and there is a link to the training material. You can find out about that. Okay, let's go on to membership management. That's the next major topic here. And we're going to go up here to admin home. And the application that we need for this is membership, and I'm going to use the quick search again. Membership maintenance. This is the application for managing the club membership. Go up here, make sure you're in the right club. Member facility, education test. The way this page is structured, there is a list of all of the members of the club down at the bottom of the page. And at the top of the page is a search or a filtering capability. And there are some action buttons across the top here. Remember when a resident comes over to your club page, they can hit that join button to become a member of the club. And then no intervention on your part is required. They hit that join button and they're in. What happens is, behind the scenes, is the system creates a member record. And we're going to look at that in a moment. When a resident wants to leave a club, all they have to do is hit the unjoin, and no action is required on the part of the administrator. But we're going to look at a member record, what information is in there, how to manually add or delete members if you need to do that, and we'll look at reporting. And let's start by taking a look at the membership maintenance here. We've got this nice display here. And again, it's one line per member in the club. Let's get up to the top. Let's look at what's in the club membership record. I'm going to do this a little larger. I'm going to go to my record, and we'll walk through what's in the club record. And again, this is Members First tab-based user interface approach. So I've just joined the club. Nothing's happened yet. We'll look at some other options later. It has my name. It has my membership type as a club member. You can also select dues paid and stay away from pods. We don't use that. I came in from the website rather than having an administrative action. The membership amount is a place where you can record a payment if you want. The payment status is unpaid or yes if your members paid his dues. Payment type, cash or check. Payment amount, this is where we'll show you how this is used for dues later, and then the date of the payment. The active button over here says whether or not the member can be a member of the club, but not included in the list of members when you click on Show Club Member List. You can hide them. Also, if this is turned off, the member won't get any emails that are sent out. This is the date that the member joined the club, and this is the date that the member is removed, the membership expiration date. And that's the meat of it there for what's going on on this membership record. So to illustrate some of this, let's add a new member manually. I'm going to click on New. It opens up a tab-based interface. This is a pull down. It takes a little bit to populate because there are 6,000 entries in here. This is linked to the resident directory, and so you just have to search through here. You can use the shorthand index through the alphabet here. I don't know, James Rutherford, we'll use him as our guinea pig. We'll make him a member, club member. We're going to set him up as the membership source was an administrative action. We're going to leave the membership amount vacant, the creation date, and we're going to set him up for expiring next year, membership expiring. Status, he's unpaid. Payment type is, remember, that was cash or check, and the date of the payment. Now, I could create this, and James Rutherford would be very surprised when he got an email announcing that he had joined the club, but we're not going to do that. But you can see how this behaves. The key is right here, selecting the member's name from the list. And again, this is connected to the resident directory. So that would be a manual add of a member. Let's go back to the list. This is one of our action buttons here. Get our list, and I'm going to show all. And let's say that I wanted to delete somebody just because. Let's say they've left the community or something has happened. There is a button over here to the side that says delete, and that'll allow you to delete a member. And as is the custom, you get the warning message. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to delete this membership record? Well, I don't. So I'm going to cancel that. Okay. And the next thing we're going to look at is we're going to take a look at a dues payment. We'll look at the steps for recording the dues payment. So the setup here is that the member has paid their dues to the club treasurer, and the club treasurer has turned to you and said, this member has paid their dues. Here's the member's name. Here's the amount paid. And here is the type of payment, check or cash. On your side of it, you would start the membership maintenance application, get in here, and you would go down here, make sure you have the correct member facility, because that will always, that's a potential source of being tripped up. Find the member. Let's say I'm going to use this feature to hop down here a little bit. I'm going to use my own record, and I'm going to be a couple things. Here's the steps. I'm a dues paid member. And I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to use a large number because, as you'll see easier, it becomes easier to pick the needles out of the haystack. The main payment status is yes. The payment type, Susan only uses cash, I've discovered. I'm working with her. And again, this is the dues payment would go in here, and we're going to do 3047. The payment date, and we'll use today as our date. So I've changed the membership type to dues paid member. I've entered a membership amount, and then down here, your payment status is yes, cash, the amount, and the date. And that is it for the dues. Now, one variation on this is some clubs cycle the club membership to coincide with the dues payment. So if you pay your dues on the 1st of August of this year, your club membership would expire the 1st of August of next year. You can use this expiration date to record that, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it on a calendar year. So I would do a save. So I've recorded the information, doing a save. And go back to the list and find my record, and there it is. I'm paid. I'm a dues paid member, and I'm paid. And if I click on that, of course, we'll see what I've paid. So let's look at some of the reporting options that are available. Well, number one is I could just click on the record and take a look at it and see what's going on for that individual. I can also say I want to see, do a search up here, payment status, yes, and search. And this will give me a list of everybody who has paid their dues, a short list there, a little easier to look at. I can also click on this action button up here, summary, and say, give me a report by payment status, and then click summary. And this will summarize it. There are 5 members who have paid, and you click on this and it'll give you the 5 members who have paid their dues. And there is one more option that's available for dues, and you can go up here to membership export, and you can click on these. It doesn't really make, these 2 options doesn't make anything. What we're going to do is export it to Excel, and here we go. This is pretty typical. Here's a list of all of the members of the club. Let me clean that up a little, make it a little easier. The header's a little easier to see. This is a line, or row 1 is the header. So there's a last name, first name, familiar name is the email, nickname. We're going to hide some of this stuff because it just gets a little noisy in all of this. And we'll get rid of, so I'll hide that. And here is the membership information, the dues payment. Let me get down to mine. And I have, here's my record. I just did this one. I did a payment here. Remember, I made that outrageous amount just to show you, because it gets a little hard to locate them sometimes. I think this is old Jim Bell. We're all trying to keep up with good old Jim Bell and his payment of dues. And I think this is Susan is over here. So this gives you a list of all of the members and the amount of dues that they have paid. So we're going to get rid of that. And one other thing, let's go back to one other, I'm going to change the point of view again. We're going to go to the resident home. I want to look at this from the point of view of a resident. Go up to My Clubs, and this will give you the list of your clubs that you've joined. And if you notice, education test, I've paid my dues, and my payment status is yes, I've completed my payment status. So your members will see that their dues payments have been recorded and they're in good standing in your club. So, and that's it for this session. Let me move this out of the way for a minute. We're going to go back to our PowerPoint, because no good briefing is without its PowerPoint, and do a little summary. We've had a really action-packed morning. We looked at events and reservations. Then we went into membership management, including the reporting of dues. If you've got questions or comments, send them to the Chatmeister. We collect those, and they are very helpful to us. And again, join the website administrators group. We need to have you registered there so we can reach out to you and keep you abreast of what's going on in terms of the administrative capabilities of the system. And with that, I thank you for your time